David Bracken, his CD, Journey to Eternity. And it has been a journey to many things in David's life. Come on here, David, and let's get to know you a little bit.
Hello, how are you
Welcome.
doing? Well, thank you.
Good to have you with us.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
And you're here with your wife, Samantha.
I am here with my beautiful wife, Samantha, yes.
You are on a really exciting path.
Mm-hmm, yes we are.
It's not the whole story, it's the story now.
It's the story now, yes, yeah.
You worked for 6 years with Willard Thiessen.
I worked for 6 years at It's a New Day television in Winnipeg. I did basically anything you can think of there. I was a cameraman, lighting technician, floor director, studio manager, worked in shipping for a while. I was an editor with the computers. I did quite a bit.
How could they possibly let you go?
Well, you know, they have a lot of great people there, and when I was doing camera, I had a lot of fun meeting a lot of different guests and whatnot. So it was a great experience, but it was time for me to move on, and God called me into ministry.
So how does it feel sitting on this side of the camera?
It actually feels really weird. I'm a little weirded out by all these people watching me. I don't know. It's a little strange.
Well, you know what I will say? You just talk to me.
I will just talk to you.
We'll just let them mind their business.
Okay, we can do that.
You're so honest about a story that I think represents many parents' nightmare. Mm-hmm. Life that started out on such a strong footing spiritually.
Yeah.
You were baptized at 7?
Yes, I was. I made that decision myself. You know, nobody pressured me into it. My parents didn't say it's time to get baptized. You know, I sat on my daddy's knee at 5 years old, and I said, I want to be a Christian. I want Jesus in my heart. At 7 years old, I saw other people, you know, being baptized, and said, I want to be baptized. You know, I had a heart to follow what God wanted me to do.
Where did you start to compromise in that journey? Because you were in all the right places.
I was in all the right
places.
places.
Involved in the coffee houses and the youth groups, and it all looked just great.
It did look great. You know, I had a pretty good resume, I guess you could say. I volunteered at a lot of different organizations. I was in a lot of Christian groups, which I think for a lot of people might be trouble. Because you start to get this mindset that I'm so good, I'm doing so much good, but yet there's these little compromises that we're talking about, compromises. And I know that when I was in high school, that's really when it started. You know, I tried to be as good as I could be. You know, being good was such a high importance in my mind, being good. And so I'd think, well, I'm not gonna get drunk, but I can still drink and have a good time, you know, pretending like I'm, you know, acting like I'm drunk, but I'm not going to get drunk. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, I don't want to have relations with a girl, but I'll do anything leading up to that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not gonna swear unless it's really funny. You know, then I will. But it's little compromises along the way. And I used to think that I was so much holier than everybody else. You know, I was a Christian. I was so much better than my friends at high school because I didn't do all these things, so I would say. You know, and all the time that I was making these little compromises, I would tell my friends that Jesus is the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were an evangelist in the midst of all that.
I was an evangelist in the midst of all that, but you know, when you're making these compromises and your friends see you doing the same things that they're doing, what makes you different from them? Absolutely nothing. So I was doing all these things that they were doing, but the only difference was I was claiming that Jesus was Lord of my life, but you know what? He really wasn't. He really wasn't.
I like the way you wrote this, that Jesus got tired of you dragging his name through the mud.
Yeah, yeah.
How did he call you up on this?
Well, you know, it actually happened at Circle Square Ranch. I worked as staff at Circle Square Ranch for a number of years.
10 years.
10 years. 10 years, you know, kind of an off and on. You know, there were years where I was in the workforce and I would go and give my weekends to them and take my vacation time to go and be a counselor at the ranch. And it was an amazing time for me. And the Austin sheriff and deputy, Lyle and Beverly Beswitherick, they are great people. I loved going back to the ranch just because I always felt at home. But really, at that point in time in my life, I would go to the ranch because it was fun. It was a fun thing to do, was to go to the ranch. And so I would go to the ranch, and I would kind of behave a little bit off, not like I should be behaving. I won't get into it, but I wasn't the best counselor for the first couple of years.
Just
we'll
a little
say
edge
that.
of rebel there.
Yes,
Sure.
I wasn't the best counselor in the first couple of years, but they took the time to disciple me and to mentor me and to show me that living a life of compromise really is not the way. And I read the Keith Green book, or the Melody Green book, about Keith Green's life, No Compromise. And that's what led me to believe that living a life of compromise doesn't change anybody's life. It doesn't evangelize to anybody. It doesn't speak to anybody. All it does is show people that I'm a hypocrite. And I don't want people to think I'm a hypocrite. I want people to look at me and say, there's a man of God. There's somebody who has a relationship with Jesus. And I want people to see Jesus in me. And if I'm drinking a little bit, if I'm swearing a little bit, if I'm almost going all the way with a girlfriend or something like that, then that doesn't show people Jesus. That shows people me. And when I'm in concerts and when I'm on stage, I don't want people to see me. I want people to see Jesus. Because that's really what is the most important to me.
That's wonderful. You spent some time with Wham?
Yes, I did spend
Just
some time
helped
with.
to solidify that strong new path.
Yeah, with Wham, that is where they gave me the book No Compromise and had me read it there. It was an amazing time for me. It was just up the highway in Kitchener. It was the first time that I'd ever really been far away from my parents. It was a really, really strong time because I never really read very much before I went to YWAM. And then I started reading books. I started getting into the Bible more. I started praying. I started hearing back from God. It was an amazing time. And, if anybody is out there contemplating going to one of these things, I would encourage them, you know what, go for it. Step out of the box. Go do some sort of mission work. It changed my life.
I pray, of course, I think is an echo of that longing to hear from God, and now you've got a two-way conversation going, which is wonderful. It's fueled your faith, and you've stepped out in full-time ministry. Someone gave you a very interesting word of encouragement. Yes. As you did that.
Yeah, well, my producer, the one who produced my CD, his name is James Forsman. He's an amazing man. He at the time was also my pastor. So he would, we would sit together and talk, and he would give me advice on things. And the one thing that he told me is after I made that decision to go into to full-time ministry, he said, Dave, listen to me. Your bank account will lie to you. It will tell you there is nothing in there. But you know what? When you are serving Jesus, he takes care of you.
Oh, tell us about almost running out of gas.
Oh,
quickly tell that story.
Okay, I'll quickly tell that story. We were in Saskatchewan, coming back from a tour from Alberta, going home to Manitoba, and we were looking at the gas tank, and it was slowly going down and down and down. And what could we do? We didn't have any money at the time. The only things that we had were maybe a couple checks that we had gotten from doing our ministry. We couldn't cash the checks. It was late at night. We didn't have any gas. So what were we to do? We started to pray, and that's what we do when we're in trouble. We start to pray. We ran out of gas, and we didn't know where to go. And so God told us. He said, "Well, you have $5 in the savings account." Well, we can't access that. We can't pull that out of an ATM. So he let us know, you can call the branch and the 1-800 line, and they can transfer that over for you. So, okay, there's $5 there. And so then we looked in the back of the car, and it's like, oh, right, I still have my float from my CDs. So there's another $10 there. And we kind of dug through the back of the seat there, and it's like, oh, hey, I found a couple toonies, So it all came together. God gave us the money to get the gas, to get home.
Now, you had another experience.
We had another experience.
Which is really, really bizarre. You'll have to just tell us in seconds.
In seconds. Okay, we were in a parking lot trying to get home after church, and we live a few minutes out of town. Had no gas. Again, it's always down to the gas. I don't understand why it's all about that. But we were trying to get home. We were in a parking lot, confused. We didn't know what to do. Again, we prayed. We asked God. And all of a sudden, we look to our left, and there's a man asking us to roll down the window. And so, you know, we rolled down the window. This guy, you know, maybe looked a little sketchy. We didn't really know much about this guy. We didn't know him, you know, but, you know, we're like, okay, we'll roll down the window. And he just kind of sticks his hand in the window and hands me $30 and walks away. You know, we didn't even have time to say thank you. He just gave us the $30. He said, here you go, and walked away. And so, you know, God sends these things. When you seek him, when you don't live a life of compromise, when you give everything you have to him, he will take care of you.
That's wonderful. You are a youth with a mission,
Yes.
aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Well, God bless you in your full-time venture.
Thank you
to
very
get
much.
these truths into the hearts of people as you speak and sing.